Let's be honest, nobody's bragging about a thin, drippy load. You want that good stuff, the rich, thick, satisfying, the kind that makes an impression. So today, we're going to unpack exactly what watery semen might be telling you about your health. And then, this is the best part, I'll show you simple, all-natural ways to thicken your load. So let's go. I want you to overperform, not underperform, because I want every week to be hard week. So head over to eage.me right now and calculate your erection age. Now you may be 35, you may be 45, but does your erection say you're 65? You'll get personalized recommendations on how to reverse your age and thicken your semen along the way. So use the link or scan this QR code that's here on the screen. Then come back here and comment your age and let the journey begin. Now let's get to these hidden causes of watery semen and how each one affects and impacts your manhood. First, something called oligospermia. Let's start with the basics. Now, sperm cells make up only a small portion of semen, but they actually play a really big role in its texture. And when your sperm count is low, your semen has less cellular content overall. It's kind of like making an E-function smoothie with just a few pieces of fruit and a ton of water. And what you get is runny and thin. So when sperm numbers drop low, the entire consistency of the semen can actually feel watery and light instead of full and rich. So low sperm count can be a cause of watery semen, oligospermia. All right. The next one is seminal vesicle dysfunction. So let me explain this next potential culprit for watery ejaculate clearly, because this one's really important because the seminal vesicles are two small glands located just behind your bladder and above your prostate. And they're not where sperm is actually made. That happens in the testicles, but they do produce up to 70% of your ejaculate fluid. So this fluid is rich in fructose for sperm energy and proteins like semenogelin, which gives your semen that thick gel-like texture right after ejaculation. So when your seminal vesicles are inflamed, they're congested or underperforming or just bogged down and tired, you end up with watery, low-volume semen. Next is low testosterone. So let's talk about how low testosterone can lead to watery semen, because it's more than just a sex drive hormone, right? Testosterone is actually what powers the glands that produce most of your semen. Your prostate and seminal vesicles are powered by testosterone, and these glands are dependent on it, which means they rely on it in order to function properly. So when testosterone levels drop too low, your prostate and the seminal vesicles don't produce as much fluid or protein-rich secretions as they would normally. And without those secretions, your semen lacks that thickness, that texture, and volume that it's supposed to have. So low T doesn't just affect your erections and everything else. It really does directly contribute to thin, watery semen that feels, weak and unsatisfying, like a splash instead of a whoosh. Right? Next is frequent ejaculation and masturbating too much or ejaculating too much, because it can cause watery semen. Because every time you ejaculate, your body releases not just sperm, but also a mix of proteins, enzymes, and fluids made by your prostate and your seminal vesicles. So these fluids take time to build back up. Think of it like you filling up a new water balloon after you've popped the one you already had. If you're ejaculating too frequently, whether through sex or masturbation or some other thing you're doing, your body doesn't have enough time to fully replenish that rich, thick seminal fluid. It gets exhausted, and the result, the semen is thinner, it's clearer, and it's really more watery than usual. So if your goal is thicker, more satisfying semen, spacing things out by a few days can make a hugely noticeable difference. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. Now, another potential cause of watery semen is retrograde ejaculation. This is when semen flows backwards into the bladder instead of forward, out the urethra and out your body. This is common in men with diabetes, nerve issues, or if you're taking certain medications. And if it's shooting backwards, the semen will kind of come out watery or less volume, kind of dripping instead of shooting. Now, this next reason your semen is watery will likely shock you, especially since an estimated 13.1% of men over the age of 40 had elevated levels of this next culprit. PSA, prostatic specific antigen. Now, your prostate adds enzymes like PSA, which plays an important role in the consistency of your semen. Here's the breakdown. Right after ejaculation, microseconds, your semen is thick and gel-like. This is mainly due to a protein called semen that traps and protects the sperm. Then PSA steps in, is there to kind of gradually break down the gel so that sperm can swim freely and head towards whatever egg it's looking for. That's the normal process. But when your PSA levels are too high, whether from chronic inflammation or prostate irritation or even age-related enlargement of the prostate, this PSA can go into overdrive. Too much PSA equals semen that liquefies, gets too liquidy too fast or completely, which can make it appear watery the moment it leaves your body. So elevated PSA doesn't just show up in blood tests. It can literally change the texture of your semen, and not in a good way. Next, we talk about zinc a lot when it comes to the prostate. But zinc deficiency, because zinc stabilizes semen structure and fuels prostate function. So low zinc leads to watery, underpowered semen, bloop, 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 instead of Next, there are low semenogelin levels. This next cause of watery semen that we'll discuss requires you to learn about this new enzyme called semenogelin. Semenogelin, if you break down that word, is a special protein made by your seminal vesicles. Its whole job is to make your semen gel-like, make it thicken right, so that right after ejaculation, it's kind of like giving your semen its structure in your body so that it can travel and do its thing. And if you don't have enough semenogelin, that gel structure doesn't form properly, and instead of a thick, healthy consistency, your semen may come out thin and watery right away. Kind of think of it like making jelly without enough gelatin. It just doesn't set in. There's no thickness to it. So when semenogelin levels are low, the result is semen that feels weak, runny, and less effective, less. Now, ejaculatory duct obstruction. Let's get into some quick anatomy here to describe this last common cause of thin, watery semen. See, your ejaculatory ducts are tiny little passageways where sperm from your testicles joins with the fluid from your seminal vesicles and from your prostate, and it goes through the prostate into your urethra, the P-tube, and it comes out. Think of them as the final merge lane before everything exits the body during ejaculation. Now, if these ducts are partially or fully blocked, the result is like a traffic jam. Your fluid gets stuck, and only part of it makes its way through, or sometimes none of it. And this can cause low volume and odd textures. Bah, who wants that? So let's fix watery and skimpy ejaculate. As we've discussed, obstructions can be caused by clogged up ducts, DUCTS, and these ducts are pathways within the prostate. So you can clear these ducts out with perineal stretching. I have a video on perineal stretching right here. You can try deep squats, seated perineal pressure with the tennis ball exercise we talk about so much here, or even yoga poses. These stretches relieve the tension and free up the flow from your seminal vesicles and your prostate. The next one, listen, consider prostate massage. After being evaluated for prostate cancer, you know you don't have prostate cancer, consider regular gentle prostate massage. It improves fluid release, it clears up stagnation, and it kind of helps coordinate your prostate and seminal vesicles so that they work together and have better timing to create that coordinated result that needs to happen in order for the things to mix right and explode, right? And another part of the prostate massage is that it can also stimulate nerves and improve blood flow for fuller, more forceful ejaculations. I have links below to learn more about my preferred prostate massager, but even a ball that you're sitting on and moving on can make a big difference. Next, eat more zinc-rich foods. See, zinc is your semen's best friend and your prostate's best friend. You can eat pumpkin seeds, oysters, grass-fed beef, cashews, chickpeas. You can sprinkle pumpkin seeds on your E-Function smoothies. And if you pair zinc-rich foods with vitamin B6, it'll help with absorption. Next, lower that PSA naturally. See, excess levels of PSA can liquefy your semen too quickly, so support your prostate with a good supplement, something that has Pygeum africanum in it, phytosterols. Eat better. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and kale can help. Next, boost seminal-gelin. Seminal-gelin production depends on testosterone and seminal vesicle health. It just does. So, in order to boost seminal-gelin, lift weights. Get some sunlight every single day. Eat high-quality proteins, and you need to increase selenium. You can increase selenium in your diet with Brazil nuts, or look for a supplement with selenium in it, like our Prostate Plus Flow. And next, you want to ejaculate less often. I know you don't want to hear this, but nobody wants watery semen. The quickest way to thicken your load is to space out your ejaculation. And instead of every single day, try limiting it to every 5 to 7 days. This gives your body time to rebuild and to thicken your semen up naturally. Okay, so we've got all these tips. How do you know if it's working? All right, so once you've made these changes, I want you to look for increased volume. I want you to look for creamier texture and a more forceful ejaculation, better sensation, and afterglow. Listen, every week is hard week, where my mission is to help 1 million men every single week get hard naturally. So here's what you do. You head over to eage.me right now and calculate your erection age. You may be 35, you may be 45, but does your erection say you're 35 or 45, or does it say you're 65 or 75? You'll get personalized recommendations on how to reverse your age and, of course, thicken your semen along the way. Listen, use the link or scan the QR code on the screen, then come back here, comment your age, and follow. And make sure you watch as you age in reverse. Challenge some of your guys, your friends, your boys to do the same. This is your edge, your comeback, your hard week every week here. So hit subscribe, turn on those notifications. I'm Dr. Rachael. I love you, and boom, I'm out.